Hello, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
I'm Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is the farm where we grow cross stitch.
One stitch at a time. Today is Monday, September the 12th. What day is it? So first and foremost, a huge outpouring of sympathy to our UK viewers and friends as they mourn the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. I am by far not a royal watcher, but I do, I understand the sadness everybody feels. She was much loved. Most people in the Commonwealth have never known another queen, and her family is obviously.
Hun, your parents have never known another Queen of England. Another monarch for England.
This is true. I saw a statistic that somewhere that her reign spanned for something like a quarter of the time that the U.S. has existed. Somebody said a third. That's not right. If you do the math, that's not right. Because the country became a country in 1776, and she ascended to the throne in 1952. It's a little bit, it's more like a quarter.
It's actually in between.
It's in between. Well, she ruled for a very long time. Oh, he's going to math it out for y'all. But obviously, we Americans don't have royalties. So for us, watching
it was 75 years, right?
70.
Literally 3.5.
So a little bit less than a third.
It's literally directly in between a third and a quarter.
Okay. Whatever that would be. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. No, thank you.
So. That would be our...
Yeah, she was the queen for a very, 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 very long time. Well, she had to do something right because people liked her.
She was much beloved, so. And seeing King Charles III is never going to be not weird. I don't know if it's never going to be not weird. It's weird. It's weird.
I was actually listening to a report on the way back from an on-site when I was out with Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually saying how when you said the Queen in America, we knew who you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That will never work with the King.
Well, it won't, because there are other countries that have a king.
There are other countries that have queens, too.
Well, this is true, but...
It's literally, that's how popular and that's how impactful she was. If you say queen, she was the first person you thought of.
She became queen when Harry Truman was president. Boggles the mind. Boggles the mind.
Okay, here's a really funny thought. Her son, literally, I believe he is like 40 years older than she was when she became. Because then he said he in his mid-60s?
He is 73. She ascended to the throne at 25.
Oh, so almost 50.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, and please nobody kill me for this comment, but I don't think long shall he reign should be in anybody's lips.
Well, he definitely went on to have a 70-year reign. But considering the fact that his father lived to be 99 and his mother lived to be 96...
I'm kind of hoping he kind of actually passes it down.
He will not.
Well, they're not allowed to?
It's not that they're not allowed to. And I've had people argue with me about this. But because of the abdication of Edward, the Queen's uncle, you will not see an abdication of the English throne. Probably for multiple generations. Those feelings are still there. So it won't happen. It's not going to happen. He is going to be king until he dies. And it very much was instilled in him that, much like Queen Elizabeth, you are king until you die. So.
And also, there's like a stupidly low chance that we have a queen in our lifetime. Or the lifetime of almost anybody alive. because the heir is male, male, and male, and I believe the last male is in grade school.
Yes.
So there's
George
male,
is-
male, and male. That's the next three in line. Well, next two in line now, but
Yeah.
so probably there's not going to be a
So
queen.
yeah, unless George has a daughter first, because now everybody was all loopy crazy when Kate was pregnant with George because of, I don't know if it was over there, but I know over here, like when Duchess Catherine was Princess Catherine, I don't know how to refer to her as, when she was pregnant with George, and they changed the rule of succession so that from their children on, if a female is not bumped in heir of succession line, everybody thought George was going to be a girl. Everybody thought they knew George was going to be a girl, and they were changing it so that the oldest could take the throne. They were wrong.
Either that or they were just trying to make sure their kids didn't have to worry about the gender of their child.
Well, that could be it. I know because see, technically, the second oldest daughter of Elizabeth and Philip, the second oldest child of Elizabeth and Philip is a daughter. But she was like, she's been bumped way, way, way down with births of Charles's kids, Andrew's kids, and Edward's kids. Like, so they decided that needed to be modernized, along with other things.
And please comment below.
I'm not an avid royal watcher, but I know these things.
Like, for an American, it's just they're celebrities. How does a royal actually rank to anybody that watches this from the UK? I mean, I guess for us, it's really hard to understand it because, well, our forefathers specifically didn't want a monarchy.
Well,
America was literally the moody teenager and he didn't want to do anything Daddy did.
Well,
tell me I'm wrong.
The king we revolted against was kind of crazy too.
I know, but it was like we specifically like, no, we just got rid of our king. We don't want another one. Quoting George Washington. I'm paraphrasing George Washington, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wanted to, because normally at that time, history with Joe, also growing up in New Jersey, at that time when a colony revolted against their country and they won, the leader of the military or the leader of the faction became king.
Well, that's generally what happens. I mean,
and George Washington and the rest of them said no.
That's not even like a modern thing, that time period thing. That's like generally what happened.
I know. No, I'm just.
We call them military coups now.
Yeah, so specifically in 1780, I think it was when we finally won. 1779, 1780, around there.
Yes, that was when the official.
They specifically were like, no.
It was like 11 years after the onset of the Revolutionary War that the peace treaty was actually signed. Even though fighting had been done for, I want to say.
By the time the peace treaty was signed, they were already gearing up for the War of 1812.
Yes. This is actually very true. So I listened to a podcast called Key Battles of American History.
People who haven't seen our channel are going to think we're a history channel.
They're going to go, what the hell? And actually, they're doing the War of 1812 right now, and yeah.
Ohioan.
I'm from Ohio. And let me tell you, the guy that hosts this podcast is from Texas. And he did not pronounce Mackinac Island right. And every time he said it, I screamed at my car's speakers.
Just so you're wondering, in New Jersey, the most taught subject when it comes to history is the Revolutionary War because it's in New Jersey. One of the original 13 colonies. Battles were fought. I've actually been to the national park that honors the spot that George Washington left New Jersey to go into Philadelphia to attack the Prussians. Okay? Or Hessians. I think it was Hessians. Yeah.
Hessians.
Yeah. That's where I grew up. Her War of 1812 was in Ohio.
Well, yes and no. I mean, really, because where I grew up was up by the lake. The you learn about the Battle of Lake Erie for the War of 1812, but it wasn't like all War of 1812 because a lot of
we learned other stuff too.
A lot of what happened over here with the War of 1812 actually did not go the Americans' way. So, it's our lovely little history blob. I don't know where that came from. Oh, I'm not really... Yeah, anyways. I'm going to stop talking and give him the phone so we can shout out our commenters and we can move this along and it's not another hour-long Flosstube like it was last week. But it's probably going to be. So grab yourself a beverage and go pee.
Or bring us up on your phone that you don't have to worry about where you are.
But please don't tell me if you're watching me in the bathroom. Angie.
Oh my god. Teresa. Craft Cave Dwelling. Is that Angie?
That's Angie.
Okay. Wow. She really
and apparently her son loves Spam.
Pauline. Andre. Victoria. Susie Scott. And Tamara.
That's Andrea, not Andre.
Andrea. Andrea, bad speaking person. This is, by the way, and now you hear her listening to somebody on it. You very much see her screaming at her speakers now, can't you?
Yes.
I love you.
I love you.
Like, which one said? Yeah. Pauline, thank you for the comment about my haircut.
Yes. Andrea commented on the Velveeta fudge. It's weird because of what we were talking about last week. And Teresa said she puts ice cubes in her coffee to cool it down. I do that during the summer. I have a K-cup. And I will brew like my normal amount of coffee, but I'll do it like on a smaller setting and I'll throw a couple ice cubes in it and make it iced coffee.
You want to know my only problem with adding ice to coffee? I've gotten hit in the face with burning hot coffee as the ice cube exploded.
Oh, well, it doesn't...
I'm just telling you what's happened to me. Okay. Like, literally, you put it in, the ice just went, boom! I don't know if there's an air pocket in it or something, but it just, like, exploded.
There was an air pocket in it. I don't really have that problem with the ice maker cubes.
That's actually why I like that's why I like having coffee with milk. Because I had so much flipping milk, it actually cools it down with the milk.
Okay. Well, why don't we move on to our stitching?
Whip time.
Whips.
This is the Hyrule Zelda World map from Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And it's kind of hard to tell where I did stuff because it's literally here.
You did some fill-in, or?
Yeah, but yeah, like all of this color here. Then some extra color up there. I just filled in all of the holes most surrounding, and now I'm going to fill in the rest of the stuff here. It's like I did a good amount of stitching, but it was all filling in the holes, so it's kind of hard to see if that makes any sense. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Okay. What color fabric is that? What count fabric is that? Where did you get the fabric from?
I haven't stitched it so long I forgot how to do this, okay? It is Lake Effect Morning 18 count. Or is it Cleveland Crud?
I don't know. It doesn't.
It's actually Cleveland Crud, I think. Yeah, try to
Yeah, it's Cleveland Crud.
And it's handed out by a Slovak Farm, aka she got it for me.
Okay, I did it. Okay. Now, I have to find the bottom of my file. Okay, so I showed you my stitches on... I showed you my stitches... Yes, I showed you my stitches on a Greyhound year last week. Excuse me. For prompt 1 of Pirates Week, which is to stitch on something connected to ancient Egypt. Prompt 2, which is to stitch on something that is completely unpractical. Prompt 4, which is to stitch on a project that is well behaved. And prompt 5, which is to stitch on something that is exotic. All got stitches on the same project. Not in that order. Because I started with stitch on something that is well behaved. And then went to something that is exotic. And then said whip became unwell behaved. And it was going to be used for something that was practical as well. But by the time we got to fixing the issue, I was done and I used my free pass. But I stitched on O feathers last week.
I love you.
I gotta find it. Alright. So I did a total of 1,179 stitches on this. And I had to take out probably half of them. Yeah, it's probably equal to about half of them. So what I had stitched was this circle. There's a little, like, one of these doodads above it, and this flower.
And those black things in between.
I had already stitched those black things in between. Unfortunately, I stitched those black things in between incorrectly. So I had to pull out the circle and the little heart doodad and the black thingies and restitch them.
It took us working together a stupid amount of time to figure out what the problem was.
He's not wrong. I was extremely frustrated because I couldn't figure out.
Because of the sheer scale of it.
Something in here was touching the black thingies, and I was like, those aren't supposed to be touching. What is wrong? And I'm like, I can't figure out what is wrong. And he's like, well, this is not in the right spot. Because if you look at the heart, they're not in the right spot. And actually, the mistake was like back in here somewhere in this part of it.
The circle was one stitch further down than it should have been.
So it all had to come out. And it all got put back in.
I will say that Even Weave seems to handle that a lot better than Ada does.
It does. So I'm stitching this on a piece of white 32 count Even Weave. I wanted the colors to pop, so I did it in white. This is stitched with the Sulky Thread Pack that they did for the O Feathers chart.
By the way, it is beautiful.
It's lovely. And no, I couldn't just fudge it because it would have put the whole thing off balance. Because it's a Quaker and everything's balanced and even. So that.
It was too much of the pattern to fudge.
Yeah, it was too much to fudge. There's no better.
That's one of those moments where we just wish it was a video game. We could just...
Yeah, there were some pretty colorful words. Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I discovered what was wrong with it. I pointed it out. And then I went and sat down in my chair and was quiet. Because I knew that just sucked.
It did.
I offered hugs and love. And stayed out of her way. Because I would be beyond pissed myself. The last time that happened to me, I never restarted the stitch.
I'm not going to say that I sat there and very nicely unstitched each. No, I took scissors and clipped. Yes, I'm brave enough to do that because I only clipped the top thread. So there's...
I don't think you can do that with an Ada, though, because the way the Adas are made.
You can. because I've done it on Ada. I've learned that if you're going to use a seam ripper or your scissors, you need a pair of very small, sharp scissors or a very good seam ripper, and only do the top thread, because there is vastly less chance. It's not zero chance, but there's vastly less chance you're going to snag where
Guess what happens to me every single time I try
the
to frog
threads
that
are
fish.
underneath. So, all right. So then I went on to work on my Sal, and that is Supernatural. I did 303 stitches on this. Mr. Werewolf
Is that a little skull for a moon?
Yes, it is. I didn't notice that at first, and then I stitched it and I looked at it because I don't have, there's a lighter tan. This color is in the skull, or is in the moon. And I'm like, wait, the moon's a skull. That's funny. So, love him.
Would you like to know how I describe that pattern? Cute yet terrifying.
Cute yet terrifying. Exactly. And this is stitched on a 32 count dirt road by the Slovak Farm. I'm using a mixture of called fors and just kind of picked something out of my stash. I have a lot of Victorian mottos in stash, so I need to use them up. Okay, and then on Friday, my friends Beth Ann and Laura King and I started Pumpkin Patch by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Isn't that adorable? It's so cute. And I used this for 2 of the monthly prompts because I was done with Pirate Week. Stitch on something that you can relate back to high school. Learn how to drive in high school. Stitch on something that could be a graduation gift. Some people, not me, get vehicles for graduation. So I did, what I do, 651 stitches on this.
You made it red.
So I had originally picked Cottage Garden, or Cottage Blue by Gentle Arts for my truck. It was a nice, pretty light blue. However, I was originally going to do this on a very different color fabric. I was going to do this on like a light gray. But then I ended up with this piece of fabric trying to dye something for someone. I thought this would be really cute and pretty for Pumpkin Patch, but you could not see my truck.
What's funny is you actually can't tell it's teal.
You could see my, let me rephrase that. You could see my truck, but not enough. Hold, please, that's my mother. Okay, and we're back. I was talking about Pumpkin Farm. Joe was mentioning that it doesn't really show up on camera really well. The dye is seafoam. And what I did was I put half the amount of dye in the full amount of water and to see what it looked like. When I first put it on the fabric and it was wet, it looked blue. Like it didn't even look green. It is a very pale green. Unfortunately, because it's like a blue-green, the light blue, cottage blue from Gentle Arts just really didn't stand out the way I wanted it to. So I did what every farm girl who was raised with red trucks did. Made my truck red.
And red tractors.
Red tractors. My dad has always had a red truck. I'm not even lying.
Now that you think about it,
when I was a little kid, truck was red. When he traded that one in, it was a maroon truck, which is still red. And now it's cherry red again.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, they keep getting bigger.
Well, truck 1 and truck 2 are about the same size.
Truck 3
is bigger.
Truck 3 can technically polish tractor.
But I don't think they don't make trucks as small as, and it wasn't like he had full size pickups, but they have definitely
They
gotten a
don't make
lot bigger
full size pickups.
in that size anymore.
Yeah, they now if you want them, you got to have those little half ones that literally, if you need to haul anything serious, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And he's a farmer, so
I mean, they use the truck to haul stuff. So, okay.
I think he did it for his 4x8 train rig, actually.
Something like that. Okay. Now, on to my last whip, and then I have 2 finishes to show you. So, yes, I stitched a lot last week. Sunday was work on an ornament day. I actually worked on 2. Because I got 1 finished. Season's Greeting is the one that I worked on, and I put this for group project in the Education Monthly. Because when I went to school and we did any type of cooking, anything, it was always as a group. So I did 300 and I don't know. Because I didn't write it down like a knucklehead. I did 304 stitches on this. Where is it? There it is. Alright, so this is on a piece of, I'm pretty sure it's 32 count dirt road. So as you can see, well, it's been a while since you've seen it. So I got the salt and pepper shaker tops in. I outlined, I didn't even count the outlining on the heart. I got the scarves on them, and I got the salt in. So, and I don't remember what color I used for this. And there's more of the border. Like, I know what color the green and white is stitched in, but that back stitch, I don't remember what color it was, and I didn't write it down. So, I have a feeling it's not going to match when I do the bottom part. I have a feeling I'm not going to give a crap. As long as it's close, I don't think it'll matter. So,
Or you could just do it in scarlet and pretend you wanted to do it in the first place.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. So my ornaments. Oh, all of my ornaments, I kind of just pulled stuff out of stash that looked good because it's an ornament. It's going to be on my tree from Black Friday until Epiphany, which is 2 months. A little over 2 months. Doesn't matter. So that is whips. Now we will move on to finishes. We don't stop for finishes. I have 2 finishes this week. One of them is stitching. So my other ornament that I worked on yesterday I did Christmas cactus. Whoops. And I did this as something that you did during summer vacation because, look, I was a farm kid. We didn't do a whole lot on summer vacation. So we did day trips. Cleveland Botanical Gardens was definitely a day trip. And here's my finish on it. Those road stitches, the yellow bits, they're road stitches. Those were kind of a pain. Because the designer originally did it on a piece of, I like this wood cutout. Obviously, this is not. So I had to get a little bit creative to make them look right, but they look great. They look great. Okay. Then, last week I had earned in the World Cross Stitch Day pop-up event in Daily 30, I had earned a pass to do an alternative Daily 30. So I could do something that wasn't stitching for Daily 30. So I picked my crochet. And this is my lovely back scrubby that I made for the Joseph that I finished yesterday, last night.
Okay, I'm gonna be a dork. Oh, look, I'm a Klingon.
Oh, there you go. So, if you recall, last week I said I had to finish that. I couldn't show you because Joe had already used it. That was the other back scrubby. The other back scrubby is all red. It's got the red. What I did was the Red Heart Scrubby yarn. I hate the stuff. I don't hate the stuff. It is very difficult to crochet with. I'm not going to lie. But when I was first trying to crochet something with it, I was having a challenge. Well, then I put it with some of the, just some cotton, some regular solid cotton, crocheted much nicer. So the other one is solid red. This one is called Natural, and I forget the name of I think it's just red. It's a sugar and cream, Lily Sugars and Cream. So weird.
I'm demonstrating it in a way that won't get me in trouble.
So that has been the stitching for the week. Guild meeting was Wednesday night, so we do have haul. So let's do our haul.
Okay.
Cheese and crackers. Haul.
Y'all, Juanita, lovely person that you are, got done with this and found out, well, I'm an Ink Circles nut. And she got me this. Ink Circles Flag Day. That is awesome.
It's awesome. Tell them do you want to tell them your plan for stitching it?
Oh, Laura's helping me find a red, white, and blue variegated floss. And I'm actually thinking of stitching it on black. Because I think it would make the colors just pop. So basically, I'm literally inverting the demo. Instead of black floss on
It's actually a very dark blue.
Whatever.
It's very dark blue.
Looks black to me. Midnight. So it probably is a stupidly dark blue. It looks almost black. But I'm just going to basically... Laura's going to dye me the darkest gray she's ever done. And then I'm going to use that with the red, white, and blue floss.
It'll be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, I'm an Ink Circle nut.
Yes. Been sandbagging home. I actually didn't bring home anything from guild meeting, but
Neither did I, except for the gift. By the way, Juanita, you're awesome.
But so I got the July Mirabilia release, which is called Tea. When I originally saw this, I had a slightly snarky name for it that I thought now. And it wasn't really all that snarky. It wasn't crude or anything like that, but I'm just... Okay. And then I got the August release, which is Lavender Mist. Both of these, most of this stuff you can order. Contact me. But I will tell you, if you order the Mirabilias, be prepared to wait a month. Because I ordered these the day after Lavender Mist came out. Mirabilia Day's on the 15th of every month. I ordered these August 16th. They just showed up today. Okay. I also ordered Carolyn Manning's Night Before Christmas. Not my usual stitch, but I love the colors, and it's small. It is full coverage, but it's kind of on the small side, so, and it's very color blocky. And then Sue Hillis released what is Hoop-Dee-Doo. I don't know if she's calling these a series or what, But we got cooking and American Pie. I thought those were cute. There's a couple other ones in the set that I want to get. Pretty cute. We've seen this. I ordered an extra of the Carolyn Manning and this, which is the Christmas ornament. Just cross stitch Christmas ornament. There's a lot of ornaments in here I want to stitch.
You okay?
Yes. Sorry. I had to take a drink. There's a lot of ornaments in here I want to stitch. Gonna have another stitch palooza with the ornaments. And then I ordered these. I have no idea if I'm actually... These are going to probably end up in shop inventory. And then at some point I may pull them and start them. But I got Lindy stitches. It says, if I am destined to be happy with you here, how short is the longest life? The Cottage Garden sampling series this year has been called Into the Woods. I've shown you a few of them. This is the woodpecker. I got Lucy Beams. I will cut you.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wait, what's this at the bottom? Snip, 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 snip.
I couldn't resist. I thought it was funny. And then I thought this was absolutely adorable. This is Hands-On Design Beach Please. And you stitch them together as like a pillow finish, but there's also this cute finish where she stitched each one little individual and put them on like block things, probably Scrabble tiles because these are tiny. But I thought that was cute. That's cute. I've been sandbagging haul. And then when I went on my little yarn expedition trip, this is the yarn that I got. It's a little bit darker in real life. It's showing up on camera. It's a superwash merino wool. The color is called Fandango, and it's actually from Peru. I don't know what I'm gonna crochet with it, but it's pretty. And I actually probably need to get another skein of something yarn. Probably gonna be a shawl. Because oh my god, I want to cuddle it.
You're getting more than that.
What?
You're getting a lot more than that then.
Yes. So that has been my sandbagging and haul. And yes, I really did sandbag haul. I probably should have gone through haul a few weeks ago, but it is what it is. Let's move on to plans and announcements, I guess.
Yippee.
Plans and announcements?
I plan to play video games.
What do you plan on doing?
For our anniversary, Laura got me the legendary edition of Mass Effect, which is the remaster, slightly reworked combination of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Which is one of the greatest video games of all time. Not the greatest, but one of. And I'm having fun playing it. I'm going to try to get more Zelda map in, but
There's a baseball game on right now. I'm getting scoring updates. Sorry. Plans. It is the Food Network week in Daily 30.
there's a big topic.
It's a giant topic. I did not write these. Our wonderful admin Lori wrote them, but so the Food Network was formed in 1993, but it took several years before becoming the second most popular cable network. Our prompt for this is to stitch on a whip that has been in progress for more than a year. I have several. Take your pick. Take your pick. The Food Network daytime programs focus on cooking instruction, while nighttime programming features cooking competitions and travel-related content, which I don't like. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I do not like the cooking competition shows. I don't. I understand that they're wildly popular, but when we first got cable and we were watching Food Network, it was more the
Emerald Lagasse.
there was cooking. Yeah, Emerald was on. There was like cooking instruction, some evening cooking instruction shows, and mostly Emerald and travel, like the travel shows, which I really enjoyed.
I think there was one where I think it was like one guy could cook and the other person couldn't. It was all this teaching people how to cook thing. I think it lasted like a season.
There have been several sort of incantations of that.
The best person to do that was actually Good Eats,
Yes, Alton Brown was my favorite.
because he explained it with science, and so I actually understood it.
Yeah. So the prompt for that is to stitch on something with either the daytime sky or the night sky. I've got a couple things with that on there. If I do, Shores of Hawker Hollow. That fits that one and prompt one, so I can do more than 200 stitches on them. So I'm probably going to do it that way. In 2009, the Food Network began to air programs in the UK and now airs programming all around the world. Stitch on a whip that portrays a scene outside of your country, or was purchased from a designer outside of your country. Lace Corset by Alexandra Adelaide. Alexandra Adelaide does not live in the U.S. FoodNetwork.com was launched in 1998. It's a website to find the recipes from Food Network. Stitch on a whip that has some component, pattern, floss, or fabric that was purchased, won, gifted, or downloaded from an online source. Again, for me, all of it, because I am my own LNS. But I had to purchase the floss for. I purchased the floss for Lace Corset from Silks for You. So that's what I'm. And that's like I have to order that.
I was actually going to say most of your fabrics you sell on the online store.
Yes, this is also true. Let's see. If you've watched Food Network, you probably have a favorite host. Stitch on a whip of your choice and briefly tell us about your favorite Food Network host or program.
I already said mine. What's yours?
I'm not going to lie. I'm going old school for this one. Anthony Bourdain was on Food Network. Cook's Tour was originally on. He was originally on Food Network with the Cook's Tour. I think it was on for 5 or 6 seasons, and then they moved him over to Travel Channel. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I don't know what product I'm going to use as my whip of choice. It's either going to be Lace Corset or Shores of Hawker Hollow. Honestly, because I've been on this kick right now. I seem to have started this kick where I want to stitch on something for like a significant chunk of stitches. So that's that. I have one more monthly for the monthly.
It's the 12th.
It's 12th. Can you tell my difference of opinion? I found this month's monthly very easy. I really am enjoying it. August, I struggled with. I know I'm not the only one. That was difficult. I mean, I'm always up for a challenge, but whew, that one was brutal. Also, I'm a little bit less busy right now. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff to do around the house, so it's kind of like stitch for a while, go do the stuff that I need to, and whatnot. So that's plans. I have no major announcements except for if you want to order something that has to come to me from Witchell, be prepared to wait for a month. I'm sorry. I cannot. I wish I could do something about it. I've just had to reorder. I finally reordered the flosses that we had originally ordered for him for circular logic. Hopefully, I actually get them this time. I have no idea. There's a Mill Hill kit somebody wanted that's on back order too, which I'm probably just going to at the beginning of next month put a reorder in on. Because what I've decided I'm gonna do is try to figure out how many boxes of Sullivan's flosses a month I can order, and like order those to fill in what I have as far as Sullivan colors, so that I have them since we're still on shipping delays from Witchelt. I get it. Life's, I think that's just going to be a way of life from now on. We're not going to go back to this Amazon quick delivery unless it's Amazon. But I do not know. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying so hard to make this work.
I'm doing just fine.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. That's my job. So I have a question for you. I don't know why I just thought of this. I didn't think of it earlier.
Okay, that's random.
Okay, so random things that we think about, because
ask your question. Just ask your question, please.
We got a handful of new subscribers this last week because Morty and David. Morty talked about, the Flosstubes that she's watching. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I haven't been watching a ton of Flosstube lately. I watch my friends. And that's kind of it. I became very disenfranchised with a lot of Flosstube over the last couple of years. Anyways, but they were talking about how their camera, they film it on her phone, and how normally the camera's on one side, but it was switched over to the other side, and they both were confused with where to look, and he goes, well, now I can't get away with what I normally do, which is, I look at you. So do you stare at me when we're filming our videos, like, in the screen?
Yes.
Do you do that? I had a feeling he did. I do my best to either look at the camera or look at the screen, so I kind of look like I'm looking at the camera.
Actually, I'm usually watching the entire screen at once, but when I'm talking to you, I actually look at you on the screen.
And see, I do that too. I'll a lot of times I'll look at you, and I'm wondering if that's like just a natural thing.
We are taught to look somebody in the eye when we're speaking to them.
I just know that God love you all, because when I first started doing this, one of the biggest complaints I heard from other Flosstubers was people saying you're not looking at the camera. Look at the camera. I struggle with looking at the camera. Our camera is like right. It would be like on my finger. And I struggle with looking at the camera. So I don't know why that just came in my head. But
the thing is, I'm looking at the screen and it looks like I'm looking at the camera. So ours is right there. The thing is, a lot of people will actually have like a camera on a little tripod off to the side, and that's where they get into trouble.
Or if they're doing it on a phone, the camera can be like way off this side, or that side. So, do you have a question to ask our viewers this week?
You're just blindsiding me left and right today. Jeez.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you have a question. I thought I'd ask. If you don't, that's fine.
Is anybody gathering up the stuff for Christmas presents?
Have you started Christmas presents?
Well, specifically for cross stitch.
I have not.
Because with all of the delays she's been talking about with the distributors, my advice is if you want to buy somebody something stitching related for Christmas, as weird as this sounds, especially if you want to stitch it yourself and then give it to them, you might want to already get the buying.
I've heard on the news, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to start Christmas shopping right now. with some stuff.
So has anybody already started their Christmas shopping? Whether it's, and what is it? If you can tell people without giving stuff away.
I don't know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I already.
You told me, and I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget to now. Give me a minute, I'll remember. But not before I want to get this video over with first.
All right. That was pretty funny. All right, dear. What do we want the people to do?
Oh, now I remember what I want you to give me. Please like, comment, subscribe, the bell notification thingy me bobby, the whole YouTube spiel.
Share us with your friends. Tell your friends how hilarious we are.
Mm-hmm. Or just tell them if they don't do it, you'll demonstrate how patient you are with stabbing something over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, there's another funny one I thought of. It's like cross stitching is the only hobby where if somebody doesn't know what you're doing, will totally freak out when you talk about cutting things and stabbing things over and over and over and over again.
It's true.
I mean, how many patterns do you know comment on the fact that cross stitchers stab things a lot?
It's true. All right. Well, this is the end of today's video. We hope you guys have a fabulous week. We will see you all next week.
Bye-bye!